Thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. The only station giving you double the information and inspiration. You're listening to Total Woman, and I'm your host, yours truly, Pink Warrior. I know it's still early. It's really not lunchtime yet for some of you. So if you're at work, grab your headsets so you're able to listen to what we have planned for you today. Get your favorite drink, whether it be green tea, alkaline water, your favorite juice or smoothie. Sit back and relax and enjoy what we have for you today.
Hello, Jessica.
Hi, Jeanette. How are you?
I am good. How are you? And I thank you so much for calling in to the Total Woman Show.
I thank you so much for having me on today.
Yes, Jessica, we're just going to go ahead and start the interview with you. You know, this month we're talking about discussing women who are going from pain to purpose.
Mm-hmm.
If you would just go ahead and just give us like a background of yourself, your story. You know, what is your story? Everybody has a story.
Yes, absolutely. Well, again, I'm Jessica Gibson, and back in 2012, I was diagnosed with a liver mass. It was the 8-centimeter mass, and I became very ill. At the time, I did not know what it was. I became very ill, and I was rushed to the hospital, and they began to do some testing. And initially, they couldn't find anything. But after doing an MRI and an ultrasound, they found it to be an 8-centimeter mass. And that mass, however, was a benign mass, meaning that it was non-cancerous. But the mass started to bleed in my abdominal area, which ultimately it could have led to death.
Wow.
When I went to the emergency room and I went to the specialist, he stated that you are a very lucky girl because that's why you became so ill, because the mass started to bleed in your abdominal area. And we have to rush you into surgery. So in 2012, I had the surgery. Typically they could do a laparoscopic surgery, but because I'm so petite, they stated that they had to do a large incision from my chest all the way around to the side of my stomach. Once they got in and to remove the mass, it took about 8 hours for that surgery to happen. And they also had to take my gallbladder because the mass was so big it was covering my gallbladder. And once everything was said and done, I went into the recovery room and I was able to recover within 2 hours. And after that, I was supposed to stay in the hospital for 8 days. I only ended up staying in the hospital for 4 days because God had shined his favor upon me and I started to heal aggressively. And then back in 2013, I was diagnosed with endometriosis, which was very invasive. And they stated that I wouldn't be able to have a child, or that it would be hard for me to have a child. And then they actually gave me some treatments. And after giving me some treatments, they said that you could possibly get pregnant. So after the first round of treatments, I was pregnant after the first round of treatments. So to God be the glory for that. They weren't looking for me to be able to have a child that quickly. And then in 2014, after having my son, I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune disease that attacks the eyes and the thyroid. And I became very discouraged, yet still prayerful that there has to be a purpose for my body being attacked in the series of years that it was attacked. So I began
Wow.
to pray and ask God to lead me, because I know that there has to be a way to reverse these diseases. I was told that they weren't reversible by going to the doctor, but I just felt in my heart that there was a way to be healed and to be totally healed, because I believed in His word. And so I stumbled across a doctor, a natural endocrine specialist, and he had experienced the same autoimmune disease, which was Graves' disease. And so I reached out to him to see that some way that he could give me some pointers, and he stated that he could help me, would help me reverse it, or either to maintain the disease where it will be manageable. So after
Jessica, I want to stop you for a second.
Okay.
What was the symptoms of, what is it, Graves' disease?
Graves' disease, yes.
What are the symptoms?
Yeah, the symptoms are basically where your thyroid can enlarge itself, and meaning that you can develop a goiter up under your neck where your thyroid is located. Or your eyes can bulge, meaning your eyes can become very enlarged. The symptoms that I had was my thyroid became enlarged, and I became very brain fog. You can have brain fog. You can try to concentrate on a certain thing, but you can't really concentrate on it. You begin to always be hungry, wanting to eat all the time, and consequence to that is that even though you're eating a lot, you're losing weight. So I began to start losing weight, and that became an issue for me because I was already a petite person anyway. So those were the issues that I was having in regards to the Graves' disease.
And I hear you talking about so many things happening to you. Let our listeners in on what size person you are. How tall are you?
I am 4'10", and my weight, I don't mind sharing my weight. I was at that time I was only 106 pounds. And so losing weight at, 106 pounds, for me, it became very stressful, because you're faced with people asking you, why are you losing weight? What's wrong with you? You need to gain weight. So I started to deal with self-esteem issues at that point.
And how many years ago was that?
This was 2014, so that was 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Wow, and to look at you today. And as I said when we started the phone call, there's a proverb or saying that I heard somewhere, and I really can't remember where, but it says the shape of your story is the shape of your life. How has your story shaped your life?
Absolutely. Yes, it has.
And let us know how it has shaped your life.
Absolutely. Well, how it has shaped my life, after being treated with Graves' disease naturally, it quickly shifted my perspective. And, it quickly revealed to me that there is a passion there. So I started to become a natural remedy guru. So I always research different things, different recipes, different foods, different herbs. And then I decided to implement those things that I was researching. And then it started becoming where people would ask me for different ideas, things that they were encountering as far as their illnesses. And I was told by so many people that, Jessica, you should consider incorporating this in your ministry. And so after praying about it, I said, God, how can I incorporate this in my ministry? And he told me to go and get certified to be a health coach. So then this year, I was just recently certified as a health coach in June. June 11th, 2017. And what shaped me to do that is the issues that I had encountered. And I want to be able to give back to my community. I want to be able to give back to my neighbor. I want to be able to inform them of different illnesses and diseases that they may be encountering, that there are ways to help manage those illnesses or even reverse those illnesses due to us eating real food, putting real foods into our bodies, finding alternatives, exercising, managing stress. And so I want to be able to give back to my community, and I want to be able to educate someone about how they can make a difference in their life and ultimately be able to live the best of their life through their prime. And I promised God that if he got me out of this, I would tell my story and I would be a help to anyone that would let me help them. I would inform them and help them in any capacity that I could.
Well, Jessica, do you think that depression can be tied to illness or what you eat or not exercising?
I do. Depression is very is basically a sickness, you know, at the end of the day, because depression can alter your brain chemicals, because our bodies are just not designed for stress. So it can alter even, you know, the way our bodies function, our organs functions, our tissues function. It can throw our whole entire body off. So it is very important that, you know, we're able to pinpoint, you know, whether it's depression or whether it's stress, because they both, you know, coexist. They kind of work hand in hand.
Yes, because, you know, I deal with a lot of ladies that go through breast cancer and different other cancers, and I notice when the treatment is over, it leaves them in like a depressed state. It leaves you sometimes in an overweight state because you're still not eating right. Because when you come out of treatment, it leaves you at some point in time not able to digest certain foods.
Correct.
Which, on the other hand, it adds to stress and depression and overeating and sometimes undereating. Do you have any advice for women going through depression or stress? Is there a certain thing to do? What foods do you suggest, not just for depression or stress, just in general, how our diet should be anyway?
Absolutely. Doing my research and with my certification, we found that sugar is the number one intent of a lot of chronic illnesses, diseases that we face. If we could, you know, eliminate the sugars and incorporate more raw foods, more green leafy foods, our bodies will be more susceptible of healing itself. Most of the time, illnesses and diseases are created in our gut. And what we want to do is we want to feed ourselves those raw vegetables, whether it be kale, whether it be collard greens, whether it be chard, whether it be bok choy, different leafy greens of that sort, artichoke, avocado. We want to make sure that we're feeding ourselves those leafy greens. And, of course, we want to also feed ourselves our fruits as well. However, we want to be careful about using artificial sweeteners, sweet teas and sodas and all of that good stuff, candy. We want to make sure that we are, you know, ensuring that we are eliminating those different types of foods out of our diet. However, it's okay to have those things sometimes, but we want to make sure that the majority of the times when we're eating, that we are eating 4 to 5 servings of vegetables per day. And the same amount of vegetables that you eat per day, the same amount of fruits you should eat a day. And the fruits that I suggest is blueberries and blackberries and raspberries, more of the lower sugar fruits, because they also have that antioxidants in it. And what the antioxidant does, it helps fight off the free radicals, the oxidation that tears down our tissues and our cells in our bodies. And I do know that as cancer patients, when you go through chemotherapy, it gets rid of all of your cells, your good and your bad cells. So it makes you more susceptible to other illnesses and sicknesses as well during that process until you're able to build up that immune system and restore those cells in your body.
You know, I noticed now you can find a lot of women that look to be in shape, they're good size, but that gut that you're talking about, what is it where all the fat is settling? And I'm seeing so many swollen bellies.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's basically because of that sugar. And basically what it does is your bad cells begin to overtake your good cells, and it begins to eat off of it begins to eat the sugar, and it begins to allow the cells, the bad cells, to grow, which, you know, to have a healthy gut health, we have to have a balance of the good and the bad cells. And so that's where you would see a lot of, you know, women that have that issue where they have an intruded midsections, where they eat a lot of sugary foods, and they begin to experience an intruded belly, and they don't really know how to get rid of it. That's why a lot of times when they work out and they do their exercises and all that, but they go back to eating the same foods that they were eating before, so they have that unbalanced structure there. And a lot of people say that if you work out, that you can eat whatever you want, but at the end of the day, that's a myth. You have to be able to have that balance to be able to ensure that your gut is healthy.
Yes. So what's the number one thing, even myself, you know, I'm working out, I see the inches coming off, but then too, I'm a woman that has gone through menopause and everything. That belly seems to sit there. So possibly it's because of the sugar, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So do you eliminate all sugars, even the natural?
No, ma'am. You would definitely want to keep your natural sugars, but you definitely want to watch it. I recommend more of the lower sugar fruits when incorporating any type of sugars. Whenever eating, say for instance, you decide that you want to eat pancakes. I say for instance, you know, carbs turns into sugar itself. So you want to be mindful of the carb intake as well. With the carb intake, just say for instance, you decided that you wanted a piece of pancake and you wanted something sweet to go on that pancake. Well, instead of using syrup, try using some raspberries or some blueberries, so that you have that lower sugar intake as opposed to maple syrup, which is very high intent of sugar. However, maple syrup, don't get me wrong, is more of a natural syrup. However, the intensity of the sugar is very high. So I suggest doing a lower density of sugar fruit to kind of, you know, target that belly fat.
And the lower density of sugar fruit, what name some of those, just a few.
There are the berries, the raspberries, the blueberries, the blackberries, the strawberries. Your berries are the lower sugar fruit.
What is like watermelon? Where does that fall?
Watermelon is, however, a diuretic, but it is very sugary. So I would not suggest that you consume that on an all the time basis. And if you do, I would suggest that you kind of do like an offset. My suggestion is, after doing my research and my studies, is that myself, I only try to consume 200 milligrams of sugar per day, and that's natural sugars. Just because I want to be able to have that balance and that offset, so that my belly does not, protrude from, the sugars and the carbs just settling in my gut area. So I suggest, if you're going to do watermelon, you may want to, trade off with something else. If you're a person that eat carbs on a day-to-day basis, you may not want to have that piece of bread that day if you decide that you want to eat watermelon, so you can kind of offset that, because, as I said before, carbs do turn into sugar and also fat as well.
And it's good to hear that, because I'm doing a 30-day challenge now, and it's no sugar, no flour, no, just no this, no that. I don't really like a lot of doing challenges and diets, but I'm glad I asked you that, because I eat watermelon every day.
Okay. Well,
and that sounds like a no-no.
Yeah, well, with that being said, I'm not saying watermelon is a diuretic. It is a good fruit. It has a lot of fiber in it. But since you're doing this diet where you're not having the flours and, the simple carbs, then you can incorporate your watermelon. Why? Because you're not eating all that other stuff that can ultimately turn into sugar. So what I'm guessing is you're eating more of a protein and vegetable diet and fruit diet, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, that's fine, because you got that balance there. And, and even with you consuming that, you just want to make sure you don't sit at the table and eat the entire watermelon. It's,
right.
It's all about being able to have that balance, instead of having the whole watermelon, you just cut a piece off and just have that and eat that. But with you've got more of a balance there. You have that, and that's what, I believe that's what, what prolongs the lives of the people in the Bible, is that they ate a lot of, fruits and vegetables, and they didn't have all of that. They didn't have all of that other stuff. So, I think that's what kind of, affects us, that we overdo it. It's okay to have it sometimes, but sometimes we can overdo it, and that's when it becomes bad. Too much of anything can ultimately become bad for us.
That's true. And Jessica, let our listeners know how they can contact you if they have questions, like an email address or a website.
Absolutely. I'm still in the stages of getting my website together. As I said, I just finished the certification. So anyone can contact me at my email, J as in Jessica, ESSICA, McFadden 843@gmail.com. And then my phone number is 704-604-9287. And anyone can contact me at either one of those contacts. And I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Or if you are interested in, just having that accountability partner to be able, that cheerleader to be able to kind of help you, obtain those goals that you are working so diligently to obtain, and you just can't find that connect as to obtaining it fully. And that's why I am here as a certified coach, to kind of help people push them into what they're trying to obtain in their life as far as their health.
Jessica, it has just been great talking with you this morning. I'm so glad you called into the show, and you have so much information and inspiration. And that's what the Total Woman Show is all about. And I would just like to tell the listeners that we will be posting pictures of you on our Total Woman page, because a lot of times people like to see who they are listening to. And I tell you, she is the cutest, the most gorgeous lady you would ever want to lay your eyes on. And to hear her talk about all the different things that she's gone through, it lets you know that God will keep you through anything. And Jessica, I thank you again for calling in. And I would like you to take us out with just a few words of inspiration to the people.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me, Jeanette. It's an awesome opportunity, and I thank you so much. What I want to, send an encouragement word to all of the ladies is that no matter what you encounter, just know that, God is with you, and that whatever health experiences that you may be encountering, just know that God is a healer, and that He puts people in your life to help guide you and shape you to be the woman that He has called you to be. And sometimes you might not understand why you are experiencing certain situations in your life in regards to health. But just know that it's not for you. It's for you to be able to be a help to someone else. And just continue to be encouraged and know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord, who are called according to your purpose. Know that you have a purpose in what God has called you to do. And that purpose is being birthed right now in whatever situation you are encountering. He's birthing that purpose. So be encouraged and know that God is and will provide for you at any cost and in any situation that you may be encountering. Be blessed.
Thank you so much, Jessica.
You're
Talk
welcome.
to you soon. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Join us each Thursday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on WDRBmedia.com, the voice of the community, for double the information and inspiration. Check out our Facebook page for Total Woman, where we will post the broadcast if you miss it. Email me at totalwoman63@gmail.com if you have comments or questions. If you would like to be a sponsor of this broadcast, send me an email or inbox me on the Total Woman Facebook page. Make sure you have given your best today, because your best is all that you owe. God bless you.
I just wanna be, oh yeah.